Sunjin decided to follow Minsu to the balcony. He stood before her and looked at her, but Minsu looked away. He slowly moved closer to her and told her that he knew he had been a bad boyfriend to her. Minsu turned around and told him that he was not her boyfriend since they had ended things. Sunjin corrected himself and told her that he knew he had been a bad boyfriend to her. He continued, telling her that there were certain things his family, especially his father, was capable of doing, and those things were not so nice. He admitted that he got scared for her when he heard the threats his father made, so the only way to protect Minsu was to let her go. Minsu, still not looking at him, told him that there was no point in being in a relationship if they couldn't face hardships together. She told him that the whole purpose of loving someone and wanting to be with them was to stick together no matter what, and Sunjin didn't do that. The moment they faced one storm, he decided to give up. Sunjin, realizing she was right, tried to touch her hand, but Minsu told him not to touch her. She turned to him, saying that she was doing her best to move on from him, and that being together in the same space like this was not doing her justice. She told him that they would stay in separate rooms until Woobin came back the next morning. With that, she walked away. Minsu got into the spare room and locked herself in. She sat on the bed and wondered how things had gotten to this point with her and Sunjin. She still loved him so much, and all she wanted was for him to fight for her and truly show her that he wanted this as much as she did. Sunjin stood by the balcony alone, his head spinning. He thought to himself that maybe it was time for him to man up to his father and do things the right way. He realized there were certain things about himself and his family that he hadn't told Minsu, and maybe it was time to be transparent and open with her. He headed to the spare room and told Minsu to open the door because he wanted to talk to her. Minsu responded by telling him to go away. She didn't want to talk. Sunjin stood by the door and told her he was sorry for everything, that he did love her, and that he never planned on falling for her. Things just happened. They met and instantly had a connection. Minsu responded from inside, telling him that maybe he was just fascinated by her skin color and wanted to act on his suspicions by going for her. Sunjin quickly told her that it was never about that, and that the first time they met, he never really thought about how she looked. He told her that he just saw the person inside and that he never cared about her skin color, that he would still love her even if she were of any ethnicity. Minsu insisted that he go away and that after this, they should avoid each other. Sunjin didn't respond. He stood there, touching the door, hoping she would open it. He broke the silence by telling her that he lost his older brother when he was 13. He continued, telling her that his brother's death had haunted him ever since, because he was the one who had taken his life. Minsu was shocked to hear this. She wanted to go to him and ask if he was really telling the truth, but she sat there, not wanting to show any sympathy. Sunjin continued, telling her that his brother was smart, a genius like him, and he was their father's favorite. They shared the same goals, and he worked side by side with their father to run the family business. One time, his brother wanted to surprise him for his birthday and took him hunting. He accidentally shot him in the heart, and he died in his hands. Since that day, he felt like his father hated him for it, which was why he allowed his father to control him. He decided that he would take his brother's place. He studied what his brother studied and got into the family business, so his father wouldn't be affected by the loss of his favorite and hard-working son. Minsu sat on the bed with tears in her eyes. In that instant, she understood him, why he was doing what he was doing. She wanted to run to him, hold him, and tell him that it wasn't his fault, that things were going to be okay, but she just sat there, not knowing what to do. Sunjin, still standing by the door, told her that it was okay if she hated him because there were parts of himself that he hated too. He said that he had become a different person ever since he lost his brother, and when Minsu showed up in his life, he felt his old self coming back again. but he also felt like he owed his brother and his family, especially his father. After pouring his heart out, Sunjin sat by the door feeling hopeless. Opening old wounds was never his favorite thing to do. He had buried his trauma deep in his mind, and that day, he had decided to let it resurface because he knew Minsu deserved to know everything. As he sat there, the door opened. Minsu walked out and went to him. Without saying anything, she tightly hugged him.